President Tinubu approves National Tax Policy Committee to drive implementation of landmark reforms. Information Minister slams agents of discord as federal government takes decisive measures to tackle insecurity.
We urge that you also add your voices in support of our ethno-religious uniqueness.
Nigeria rolls out ECOWAS biometric ID card for ease of travel and enhancing commerce within the sub-region.
If you are not traveling outside of ECOWAS, then you have no business with international passport.
Good evening, I'm Lami Ali, and you're watching the NTA Network News live from Abuja. With the latest news coming up, Hingino John Adams is at our Lagos end with stories from the Center of Commerce. In sports, Bade Adeleye brings you highlights from the sports dashboards. Bade, what's new in the world of sports?
Well, Nigeria's representatives, Rivers United, are finding life difficult in the CAF Champions League. It's now 2 losses in 2 games for them.
We shall equally bring the latest from the business world. Join us for live stream on our website, nta.ng/live. NTA is also on other social media platforms. Our other handles are displayed on your screen. Thank you for joining us. We begin with tax matters as President Bola Tinubu approves the establishment of the National Tax Policy Implementation Committee to oversee the coordinated rollout of the administration's new tax reforms. Here is the report.
Committee, which Joseph Tegbe chairs, will ensure the implementation of the administration's landmark tax reforms in line with the economic aspirations of the government and the people of Nigeria. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, will oversee the committee's work. The committee will undertake extensive consultations across the public and private sectors to ensure broad-based input into the implementation process. Its chairman, Tegbe, is a fellow of both the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, FCA, and the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, FCIT. Mrs. Soyade Okoli, Special Advisor to the President on Finance and Economy, will serve as the committee's secretary, while members also include Ismail Ahmed, Ruqayya El-Rufai, and others. In establishing the committee, President Tinubu emphasized that effective implementation of the Tax Act is central to the nation's economic transformation agenda and critical to strengthening public finance management while safeguarding the legitimate expectations of investors and the productive sectors. A statement by the Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, indicates that the committee comprises experts drawn from tax administration, finance, law, the private sector and civil society, ensuring a balanced and inclusive approach to policy execution.
The federal government has expressed concern about the prolonged defense narratives about Nigeria's security situation, particularly those promoting an agenda capable of causing disunity among Nigerians. As the 25th anniversary of Action Aid, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, affirmed that security remains a priority in the agenda of the federal government. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
Action Aid Nigeria, operating under the umbrella of Action Aid International, a non-governmental organization that provides support to vulnerable communities, building their resilience in the face of disasters and supporting their access to essential services. Since 1999, Nigeria and her citizens have benefited from this gesture.
Let us reaffirm what has sustained us through these decades. Our humility to listen before we act, and our solidarity with the poor and excluded, which will always be the only bias that we declare.
Supporting the government in all spheres of human endeavor. You have been doing fantastically well.
Congrats for what you've been able to achieve, but most importantly, your job has just begun.
The government spokesman, who is also the chairman of the occasion, acknowledged the organization's 25 years journey in Nigeria as impactful.
We urge that you also add your voices in support of our ethno-religious uniqueness and let your scientific insight into the Nigerian situation take a positive lead in your appraisals. Let me reassure Nigerians and our partners here today that the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will continue to respond swiftly, decisively, and compassionately wherever citizens, especially children, are in danger. Our children must be safe in their schools, safe in their communities, and safe in their homes. But only by working together can we achieve this purpose.
He is confident that the federal government's innovative ideology through youth empowerment, the creation of the Ministry of Livestock, and humanitarian services by the relevant ministry are all geared towards fighting injustice and poverty in Nigeria. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA.
In other news, Nigeria has officially rolled out the ECOWAS biometric identity card, a digital travel document that allows Nigerians to move across West Africa without an international passport. Victor Azu reports that beyond convenience, the new system is designed to strengthen security and support small businesses that trade across borders.
At Abuja's e-gates, the sequence is familiar. A scan, a march, and access. It is crisp and efficient. It is this same choreography that the new ECOWAS National Biometric Identity Card, the NBIC, will replicate for regional travel, replacing the old paper Emergency Travel Certificate, ETC. Comptroller General of Immigration, Kemi Nandab, says the digital card ties every traveler to a verified biometric identity, making movement easier for legitimate travelers and harder for criminals exploiting porous borders.
It serves as a biometric travel document for intra-regional mobility. It also serves as a veritable identity card and also as a resident permit for ECOWAS citizens within member states.
Nigeria is now the 7th ECOWAS country to roll it out. For small and medium-scale traders who rely on cross-border routes, the card promises fewer hurdles and lower costs.
If you are not traveling outside of ECOWAS, then you have no business with international passport. So this provides a means of travel for our small businessmen.
Unlike the passport, the NBIC is built specifically for West Africa, a compact biometric card backed by a shared ECOWAS system, created to make borders easier to cross and security easier to maintain. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
Now, the Minister of State for Defense, Mohammed Bello, says Nigeria must invest in both human and technology to combat evolving security threats. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the minister stated this at the end of the 2025 Chief of Defense Intelligence Conference, which closed. The conference created an avenue for stakeholders to reassess traditional intelligence methods and explore fresh, data-driven approaches with deliberations focusing on integrated multi-source intelligence, leveraging emerging technologies, enhancing human intelligence assets, improving interagency collaboration, and adopting new frameworks to protect Nigeria's national interests. Now, arrangements are in top gear for the Nigerian International Air Show to be hosted in Abuja from 2nd to 4th December 2025. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development Festus Keyamo, while inspecting facilities ahead of the exercise, assured Nigerians of a successful event. Aliu Kabir reports.
The Nigerian International Air Show, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development says all necessary airport facilities have been fully upgraded. The improvements, covering safety systems, passenger handling and airside operations, are intended to meet international expectations for an event of this scale.
For us, this is the first time in the history of Nigeria we're doing an international air show. And we are expecting foreign visitors, foreign airlines, foreign investors to come and see what we have to offer. So it is just a platform for Nigeria to showcase itself.
The minister, during an inspection tour, described the air show as a historic milestone, noting that it is being organized entirely through a public-private partnership.
What we have done is to put our logo on it. We have put our franchise on it as federal government. We have made our infrastructure available, our runways, our everything. And then the private people are coming in to invest.
Security agencies are also said to be on high alert with measures in place to ensure a smooth and hassle-free experience for participants. The minister cautioned that certain aircraft displays may require temporary restrictions to normal flight movement during the event. In Abuja, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Now, the federal government's vision of digitizing education processes advances with plans to install 4,000 telecommunication towers in underserved areas. Ministers of Education and his communications counterparts say the infrastructure will be the pillar for the nation's first ever national education technology EdTech strategy. Zenret Stigmo reports.
Nigeria's digital education journey isn't all too new. However, stakeholders attribute the inability to maximize already existing potentials to improper alignment of investments. This interministry collaboration is needed to provide evidence-based governance, allowing Nigerians to track information on government policies without hitches.
We have big 5 subsea cable company in the country that with education data, we can begin to deliver high-speed connectivity to our tertiary institutions. And beyond that now, what about building infrastructures?
I think what the Honourable Minister is doing today is opening up and inviting us to support his agenda. And I'm giving my commitment.
The private sector bringing solutions to the table and what teachers and students actually experience in classrooms every day.
With this, issues of geographical remoteness that places many learners at a disadvantage will become history, as fragments of data will be coordinated into the EdTech ecosystem.
The midterm workshop is meant to validate the draft framework, confirm strategical priorities.
A reconstituted Nigeria Research and Education Network, NGREN, and Tertiary Education Research Applications and Services Governing Board was also inaugurated to ensure the new strategy is effectively resourced, managed, and implemented. In Abuja, Zenret Stigmo, NT News.
The House of Representatives is to engage relevant stakeholders to address what it calls lopsidedness in the establishment process at federal universities. This was the stand of the House Committee on University Education during an oversight to Obafemi Awolowo University in Ife in the Southwest Zone. National Assembly correspondent Muhammad Rabiu Ali tells us more.
The interface between the committee and management of the Obafemi Awolowo University provides a headway to correct mistakes based on the submission by the university.
All these errors pointed out, particularly the errors that we also noted, even while you were trying to read out some of these pages, we will try to correct them.
At the University of Ibadan, the committee scrutinizes documents forwarded by the management, faulty information provided.
So we are not here to harass anybody. We are here just to do our job.
Academic expenses, and you lump everything and say you spend 510 million naira.
The money for maybe stationaries and so on and so forth. So maybe that is why, it appears that you have surplus, but those surplus may not be available.
Infractions in nominal roll and inconsistencies in internally generated revenue were raised during an interaction with the management of the Federal University of Health Sciences, Ilaurogun, Osun State.
By advertising, it will give you more professionals
that you deserve to have at the, most especially the institutions that are health-related institutions. Anybody outside Southwest region who attended that interview, there was none of them who did not have their appointment.
Federal University of Medicine and Medical Sciences, Abeokuta, and Nigeria French Fleet Badagry, Lagos, also took their turns with the committee. The committee is expected to visit universities in the northern region in coming weeks. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. Time now to pause to bring you some messages. Do stay tuned. You're welcome back. Jigawa State Governor Umar Namadi has embarked on a night-time inspection of key development projects across Dutse metropolis, reaffirming his administration's commitment to driving a knowledge-based and skills-driven economy for the state. Muhammad Musa Askira tells us how.
Will be a feeder to Dangote Group, will be a feeder to all the oil companies, the shells and all others.
From the engineering center where hospital and educational facilities are being fabricated to the global standards to the expansive multi-purpose skills acquisition center designed to equip Nigerian youth with skills needed for self-reliance, Governor Umar Namadi assessed progress and readiness for commissioning. Also inspected were newly completed township roads networks that not only improve connectivity across Dutse metropolis but also add to the city's aesthetic appeal. The governor expressed satisfaction with the quality of work, noting that the multi-billion naira projects reflect his administration's commitments to enhancing public welfare and boosting economic opportunities.
These centers are meant for the whole Nigerians. We are being motivated by the action of our president. The Renew Hope agenda has in its cornerstone youth empowerment and employment. And we feel, as disciples of the president, we should be able to follow his footsteps. And this is what Jigawa State people want.
These strategic projects, now completed and awaiting inauguration, are expected to transform the physical outlook of the state capital and stimulate broader economic growth across Jigawa State. In Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Now, the Federal Ministry of Defense, the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria, DICON, and global events organizer DMG Events have officially announced the launch of the Africa International Defense Exhibition, AFRIDEX, scheduled for 26th to 29th October 2026 in Lagos. At a press briefing in Abuja, the Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Matole, says the event will not only help address security challenge across the African continent, but will also boost Nigeria's economy. Jonathan Omajali reports.
The exhibition will showcase advanced defense technologies from Africa and around the world, promote defense industrialization and local production, and create a marketplace for procurement, innovation, collaboration, and training.
This exhibition provides a vital platform for continental synergy, a relying point for cooperation among African nations to share best practice, foster joint research, and collectively strengthen regional security framework.
The event will feature live demonstrations, technology showcases, strategic dialogue sessions, and high-level engagements focusing on critical areas such as defense manufacturing, precision engineering, advanced weapon systems, armored vehicle platforms, and unmanned system technologies, amongst others.
So we are looking forward to deliver a global event, not only for Nigeria, but for the rest of the African continent here in 2026.
Africa's security environment continues to evolve, with cross-border threats that surpass the capacity of individual nations. The event holds the key to unlocking timely military cooperation. In Abuja, Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
Minister of State for Defense Mohammed Bello says Nigeria must invest in both human and technology to combat evolving security threats. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the minister stated this at the end of the 2025 Chief of Defense Intelligence Conference. The conference created an avenue for stakeholders to reassess traditional intelligence methods and explore fresh data-driven approaches, with deliberations focusing on integrating multi-source intelligence, leveraging emerging technologies, enhancing human intelligence assets, improving interagency collaboration, and adopting new frameworks to protect Nigeria's national interests. The Defense Intelligence Agency reaffirmed that intelligence remains central to national defense.
Aging and cyber capabilities have greatly enhanced our ability to anticipate and respond to threats. However, technology alone is not sufficient. The experience, judgment, and dedication of our intelligence personnel remain essential.
The future of intelligence work in Nigeria and across the sub-region depends on our ability to integrate multiple data sources, apply advanced analytics, and foster collaboration across the defense and civilian security architecture. Therefore, let us return to our respective duty posts, reinvigorated and more determined to advance the frontiers of national intelligence and security for development.
The event was also to review operational performance and deepen cooperation with defense attaches. Now, the federal government has launched a national agricultural traceability and environmental monitoring framework to protect Nigeria from losing over $4 billion in annual export revenue due to the European Union's new deforestation-free regulation. Musa Baba Ali reports that the government released a white paper outlining Nigeria's EUDR compliance strategy.
Regulation EUDR, which requires that certain commodities and products sold in or exported to the EU are not linked to the deforestation or forest degradation. To comply with the regulation before 30th December 2025 deadline, Nigeria has shown strong commitment to meeting this deadline. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security therefore released a white paper outlining the country's EUDR compliance strategy and signed a memorandum of understanding with the National Space Research and Development Agency, NASDRA. Under the MOU, NASDRA will provide satellite imagery, real-time monitoring, geospatial mapping, and technical expertise. The ministry will oversee farmer registration, policy integration, and the nationwide rollout of the traceability framework.
Nigeria faces the risk of losing over $1 billion in direct export earnings and more than $3 billion in total economic value each year if we fail to adopt. We cannot allow this level of exposure to place our farmers or our national economy at a disadvantage.
The foray of Nigeria into space is not an ego tripping, sir. It is because of the needs for food security, infrastructure development, national security, and many more.
President Bola Tinubu has approved the acquisition of 4 new Earth observation satellites, 3 high-resolution optical satellites, and 1 synthetic aperture radar satellite to boost Nigeria's geospatial capabilities in agriculture, security, and infrastructure monitoring. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The Presidential Initiative on Unlocking the Healthcare Value Chain, PVAC, has hosted a high-level health delegation from Barbados, led by Senior Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Jerome Walcott, in Abuja. At a roundtable with heads of Nigerian health agencies, the discussions centered on strengthening primary health care, boosting pharmaceutical research, and improving the operations of Nigeria's sovereign health fund. Dr. Walcott noted that both nations face similar health challenges and stand to benefit from shared solutions. PVAC National Coordinator Dr. Abdul Mukhtar said the engagement reviewed common constraints and identified new opportunities for collaboration.
system, work done in research and development in the pharmaceutical region, work with your sovereign health fund, and all the various entities. We share similar problems, certainly overall in healthcare processes and policies and development. And this gave me a deeper insight into what is happening in Nigeria, and a lot is happening.
Issues around human resources, and we've agreed to share some of the policies that His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has put in place around managed migration policy in the health sector that Dr. Patti is also leading.
Still on collaborations, in a significant move to bolster national security and accountability, the Nigerian Air Force is actively expanding its partnerships with key government agencies. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports that this new push for interagency cooperation is a direct initiative from the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sunday Aneke, aimed to strengthen civil-military relations and ensure its operations are conducted with the utmost professionalism and respect for human rights. Olajide Bello reports.
The Chief of Civil Military Relations, Air Vice Marshal Edward Gapquet, led the outreach, beginning with a visit to the National Human Rights Commission. There, the Executive Secretary, Dr. Tony Ojukwu, commended the NAF for its groundbreaking work on a civilian harm mitigation and response action plan.
One major concern all over the world is that let us not, in the process of fighting terrorism or insurgency, forget human rights. Because the tendency is always there.
Joint initiatives to promote understanding and trust between Nigerian Air Force and civilians while fostering positive relationships and then seeking for advice on how the Nigerian Air Force can develop other policies and procedures that will ensure that we can comply to human rights standards.
The engagement extended to the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons and the Department of Public Prosecution to reinforce the necessity of collaboration to tackle shared challenges, including human trafficking and human rights abuses. The widened stakeholder engagement signals a new chapter for the Nigerian Air Force, one where interagency synergy is central to its mission of securing the nation while safeguarding the rights and welfare of its citizens. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Network News continues in Lagos with Hengino. Hello, Hengino.
And welcome to Lagos. Nigeria-South Africa Chambers of Commerce celebrates 25 years of fostering trade collaboration between both African nations, resolving to continue building together with renewed vigor. Lanre Gbele was at the appreciation dinner, which also doubled as an award program to honor institutions and individuals in the trade group.
For a quarter of a century, the trade group has created a milestone that not only reflects longevity, but sustained impact, resilience, and deep commitment to African economic integration, and stands as a powerful symbol of cooperation between two countries with the largest economies. Guests urged the Nigeria-South Africa Chamber of Commerce to continue their contribution to Africa's continental trade narrative, being business relations model for inter-African cooperation from Lagos to Johannesburg.
Businesses exploring the South African market have benefited from the Chamber's support, networks and market intelligence. NSACC is indeed a trusted voice on bilateral trade reforms.
South Africa and Nigeria are amongst the 4 biggest economies in the continent. And it is up to South Africa and Nigeria to industrialize themselves so that they can industrialize the rest of the continent.
The journey has been remarkable in the sense that our chamber has served as a catalyst, building trust between the two countries.
So if we take South Africa's technological advancement, manufacturing capability, and we merge that with the power of the Nigerian people, I think both countries would really redefine things.
The celebration also made the trade group recognize and celebrate companies and individuals' sustained support over the years.
People of these good countries.
Established 19th May 2000 as a member-based non-profit trade organization, the trade group has dedicated themselves to strengthening economic and commercial ties, using strategic interface to support bilateral businesses between Nigeria and South Africa. In Lagos, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
It was an amazing evening of class and prestige as Budweiser Nigeria unveiled its latest premium beer, All Rise brand that speaks of royalty. Adeola Komiakere reports that beer enthusiasts and a consortium of traditional rulers present stamped the seal on the new brand as they witnessed the birthing of Budweiser Royale.
The super premium beer, owned by global brewing giant AB InBev and produced by International Breweries PLC Nigeria, unveiled a new chapter in its journey of brewing with the official unveiling of Budweiser Royale to Nigerian consumers.
A natural lift in alcohol for a full-bodied, vibrant taste, combined for ultimate smoothness and perfect balance.
The scintillating evening was filled with diverse performances. His Royal Majesty Nnaemeka Achebe, the Obi of Onitsha, virtually welcomed guests.
As we celebrate, I wish us joy, pride, and unity.
Elated top management of Budweiser Nigeria say over the years, International Breweries PLC Nigeria has been engaged in building capacity, people, sustainability and community, and believe that Nigeria and Nigerians deserve nothing less than world-class products.
So this idea started with the fascination that we have for this country, and it took us around 1.5 years to 2 years to develop this beautiful liquid and this beautiful brand.
One said a beer with an elevated taste, a beer that has a full-bodied, bold flavor while retaining the smoothness that Budweiser is known for internationally.
As Nigeria, we're the first in the world to launch Budweiser Royale, a global brand, and it chose Nigeria as the location to launch it. I think it's something we should be super proud of.
It's the perfect colors, it's the right blend, it's just giving money.
It's something I would describe as very iconic.
The evening rounded off with a spectacular performance from Made Kuti. In Lagos, Adeola Komiakere.
That's it from here. Time now for some messages. Benny Adams will be back with business news after the break.
Good to know you're here. It's time to talk business. Now, the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa, the International Islamic Trade Finance Corporation, and the Afri-Exim Bank have agreed to pull in resources from the Gulf countries to upscale production in Africa for exports to other parts of the world. This was at the end of the 5th meeting of the Arab Africa Trade Board of Governors hosted by the Nigerian Ministry of Finance, with the theme From Tariff Challenges to Trade Opportunities, leveraging EFCFTA and the Greater Arab Free Trade Area, GAFTA, for Arab African economies. The 11-member Arab Africa Trade Coalition agreed to facilitate trade through the capital injection, capacity building, and exploring new markets across Africa, Arab, and Europe.
We need to establish trade facilitation desks and regulatory harmonization so that we standardize with AFTA and GAFTA protocols that are common across our various countries.
We can only help in creating the opportunities and mitigating the risks and educating our people in both continents.
Generally, it's a huge opportunity for Africa now with the shift of customs and trade tariff wars.
On improving access to finance
We have the Bank of Industry, Bank of Agriculture, and we're also trying to recapitalize them, increase their firepower to be able to lend concessionary financing to SMEs.
An investor can go anywhere in the country and reposition yourself and produce. You will have the road network that links you to the ports.
It's the biggest in Badia history. We allocated 18.3 billion for the next 5 years. And the most allocated funds goes to trade.
Tunisia can facilitate trade and investment between these different regions, acting as a gateway between markets.
We made great strides, in particular in the areas of the free movement of people and goods, infrastructural development, addressing food security, accelerating industrialization, but also promoting gender equality and economic empowerment.
At the end, they all commit to ensuring the Africa-Arab economic integration succeeds. Now, a quick look at the market. At this time, the Nigerian equities market continued its bullish trend for the second consecutive session, driven by positive investor sentiment. The all-share index closed at 143,442.32 basis points, reflecting a modest gain of 0.14%. The South African market capitalization increased by 178.92 billion to close at 91.23 trillion. The Tunisia stock market ended the trading day with positive movement. Overall, the major markets in Nigeria, South Africa, and Tunisia all recorded gains today, indicating broadly positive sentiment across these African markets. That is it on business at this time. It's all green.
Thank you, Benny. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu felicitates with Chief Ulisa Metu as the former spokesman of the People's Democratic Party marks his 60th birthday. Metu, a lawyer and businessman, served as the PDP's National Publicity Secretary between 2012 and 2016. The president commends Chief Metu's contributions to national cohesion, describing him as a steady voice of reason whose efforts have helped bridge partisan and ethnic divides. President Tinubu also acknowledged Metu's humanitarian work and prayed for many more years of sound health and purposeful service to the nation. Also, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu congratulates Oba Yusuf Adebori Adile, the Olubaka of Okakoko in Ondo State, on the upcoming Ihare Festival, which also coincides with the monarch's birthday. In a statement, the special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, says Ihare Festival and initiation into the Elders Council will take place on November 29th and serves as the highlight of cultural celebrations commemorating the 82nd birthday of the revered Olubaka. The President joins the people of Okakoko and Ondo State in celebrating the Renaissance monarch, beloved by many for his dignified comportment and integrity, describing Oba Adile as a principled, wise, and courageous leader. We take a break for some messages. Do stay tuned. Sports news is next.
Many thanks, Lami. Let's begin by letting you know that Coach Emmanuel Zacchaeus, the promoter of Nigerian boxer Musa Tokpetajudin, has assured Nigerians that his athlete will clinch the WBA with featherweight title against Benin's Martins Clark-Valley in a bout scheduled for November the 29th in Abuja. He gave this assurance during the pre-match press briefing for the Nigeria versus Benin boxing event.
And I'm confident of what I'm saying, that TP Rock is going to win tomorrow.
Yeah, I've trained for it, I prepare for it, I have the plan, I have the game plan, so I'm going to win. I get confident because I train hard with my bosser. Yeah, I know his level, so he never fight my boy, so tomorrow we will show ourselves to him.
Well, that's the much you can take on sports tonight. Let's return to Lami.
Thank you, Buddy. Now, the remains of the renowned Islamic scholar Sheikh Tahir Usman Bauchi has been laid to rest in Bauchi in accordance with Islamic rites. Zainab Abola reports that Vice President Kashim Shettima was among thousands of Muslim faithful who attended the funeral prayer.
Late Sheikh Dahiru Usman Bauchi died on Thursday, 27 November 2025 at Special Operations Command of the Nigerian Air Force, Bauchi Hospital, after a protracted illness. He is survived by 4 wives and 80 children and many grandchildren. The funeral prayer was led by Sheikh Sharif Ibrahim Sali. The funeral prayer was attended by federal government delegation led by Vice President Kashim Shettima, former and serving governors, former federal and state lawmakers, ministers, diplomats and captains of industries. The late renowned Islamic scholar was buried at his residence in Bauchi according to Islamic injunctions. In Bauchi, Zainab Abola, NTA News.
And the All Progressives Congress, APC, mourns the passing of the revered Islamic cleric Sheikh Tahir Usman Bauchi at the age of 101. In a statement, the National Publicity Secretary, Felix Moka, describes Tahir Bauchi as an exceptional leader of the Tijaniya Muslim Brotherhood, preacher and notable teacher of the Holy Quran, an advocate of peace, piety and moral rectitude, whose death has created a yawning void that will be difficult to fill. Now, as countries across the world adopt varying forms of affirmative measures to improve the quality of governance, Nigeria must do a similar path of progressive ideology by promoting inclusiveness, especially reforms that support women's participation. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu gave this submission at a dinner she hosted this night for serving and past members of the National Assembly at the banquet hall of the presidential villa. That report will come to you in subsequent bulletin. And this is where we come to the end of today's Network News. We thank you for being a part of it. Do have a beautiful weekend. I am Lami Ali.